All right, I believe that this is my first post-season premiere video about the Oval, so this is a milestone. Yeah, I know I just wanted to wait a few days to do these videos because, of course, after the Oval and Sisters, I had to do my Tyler Perry, The Haves and the Have-Nots returns January 7th, 2020 trailer breakdown video. And thank you all so much. At the time of recording this specific video, that video is now, and I need to get the views in front of my face. I actually had it pulled up before I started recording, but my iPod shut off because I didn't touch the button. So just bear with me for a couple seconds. And I know some people are already going to be mad. Oh, great. Here we go. Drawing out the video. Shut up. Shut up. So, yeah. It's over 24,000 hits. So thank you for the success of that video. And yes, I have more have and have not videos to do, but I'm kind of going to save those for, maybe next month / December, because we might get an even longer extended trailer typically in December like we always do. So don't worry. I got more to say. It's specifically about the Criers, but talking about the Oval now. This video, and if there are any people from the Oval who actually are taking the time to watch this video, first of all, bravo for a great season premiere. I love watching all the behind the scenes videos leading up to the premiere. I think the most impressive feat is Tyler Perry constructing his own White House. That's just fantastic. And a few of them follow me back on Instagram. A couple of them actually let me know that I subscribe to your channel. So thank you so much. So with that being said, this is me kissing behind because some people are like, oh boy, Jeremy done titled this video about the backlash of the season premiere. And he just wanted to shout out the people who worked on the show. And now he's going to talk bad about it. No, not really. I mean, if you watch my episode review, which I don't really know why you haven't yet. It's almost been a week since I put it out. I actually liked the episode. I've watched it 5 times. I watched the encore performance at midnight. I remember I was doing a live stream eating a McRib and McNuggets at the time. And I watched it on BET.com, and then I caught the encore performance yesterday, Sunday, at what was it, 8 p.m. or 9? Either way, I know it came on. I watched it like 5 times. But the thing is, and I'm kind of responding to the various comments, DMs, tweets, and various opinions that I've heard about the show via online, watching other people review it and reading comments in different, forums, whether it be Facebook posts or tweets or whatever the case may be. And a lot of people told me or have said online they actually liked Sisters better than the Oval. And I mean, that contradicts the poll I put up on my YouTube community tab where about 65, and I think the votes were like 250, 270 or somewhere around that range, about almost 300 votes total. I love them both. That got over 60%. The Oval got like 26, and I think that Sisters got about 19 or 16%. In terms of the what show grabbed my attention more, I think it was the Oval, because Sisters seems pretty straightforward, like what to expect. But looking back, now that I only watched Sisters one time because I feel like one time was enough. I got a grasp of all the different characters. But the Oval did require some rewatch because you know how I do things on this channel. I break things down like a fraction, meaning that I have to know everything there is to know. I think in terms of what series premiere had the stronger opening, I think I would have to give it to Sisters. And yes, I still stand by my scores. I gave both shows an 8 out of 10. But in terms of which show had the stronger opening, I would have to say the Sisters. But which show would I watch? Again, Oval. I think it's because of the fact that my biggest question or, head scratching moment was, despite the show being the Oval, and yes, I know it's not about the politics, it's more about the inner workings of what goes on within the White House itself in the lives of the people who work there, Chief of Staff, Secret Service, the butler, not just the presidential first family. But that was my biggest thing. It's like we really didn't get much of the first family. And I think the biggest moment for me as soon as it happened was the opening minutes of the show where we had the president and first lady fighting. And I'm just like, yep, this is going to be a head-turning moment for a lot of viewers who will instantly be turned off by the show due to domestic violence. I knew that was going to happen. Even before the show premiered, when those two were fighting, when those were shown in like the trailers and clips, a lot of people off the cuff were like, no, I'm not watching this show. You're going to have a black woman being beat down and this and that. And I remember commenting in the video like, well, look, I'm not saying domestic violence is right. I'm not saying I stand for it, but at least you don't really show the woman being weak. You really show both of them getting hits on each other, and it's not just, him abusing his wife and then dragging her to the inaugural ball. It's kind of like both of them went at it. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he? Wait, who was it? He was getting a bit physical with her in order for Victoria to, actually talk with him. Then she spat in his face, and that's when the first punch happened. And then some slaps, glass, chairs, and then it was pretty intense. So it's kind of like you see these characters fighting, but then we really don't know what else is going on. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You got the two of them fighting, then, calling in hair, makeup, and everything to kind of cover up the bruises and whatnot. Then Victoria goes to talk with Gail about not wanting to go. And then you got the two coming out of the room, and then they walk into the, it wasn't the arena, but basically they walk out. The crowd's watching. She notices Hunter's +1. Then they dance. And I believe that's all we see of the president and first lady in the episode. And then we barely get any introduction to is it Jason, the son? We only get so much screen time with him. We can instantly tell that he's the Wyatt of the children in regards to being constantly under watch / surveillance, and as Gail put it, a bit of a creep. And yes, I still need to do a video about the interpretation of him wanting to help his sister get dressed. But yeah, I think for me, what the Oval didn't do well in its first episode was utilize its time wisely. I think that's one of the biggest flaws against the episode. And just looking at the opening sequence, you have like a bunch of characters walking under the Oval logo, and I'm like, damn, that's a lot of characters. And when you look at Sisters, you have 4 titular characters. And I'm going to try to say this by memory: Andy, Sabrina, Karen, and Danny. Andy, Danny, Sabrina, Karen. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm not even looking at my notes. I just want to see if I know that by memory. So it made more sense that in that episode, there was enough time going around to kind of get an idea of each character's quirks, what makes them tick, and use it as an introduction to what their lives are like. But with the Oval, it's like, I feel like the season premiere had a hard time figuring out what it wanted to be and what it wanted to do, because we pretty much were hopscotching from, the first family's getting ready for the gala. Then we have Lily trying to get a flight back to the White House in time for the ball. Then she's going at it with her husband, Hunter, who's not happy about his wife not being there. Then, her moments with Bobby, he's coming on to her. Then we have Nancy, over at her house with Barry and Callie, and then Ruth shows up, and then we go back to the White House. They're trying to move out the president whose term has ended to bring in Hunter and his family. And then you have Gail not wanting to get ready. Then you have her drunk at the White House, taking Barry up to the room, and then it's pretty insane. Then on top of that, the cult thing. I think what didn't work was the fact that they kind of raised the stakes a bit too high in episode 1. And I'm not saying this show needed to be dragged out or anything like that, because that's one of the damning things about like the haves and have-nots, and if Loving You is wrong in certain seasons. What was it, that one season of Loving You is wrong? And I think the haves and the have-nots suffered with this too, where like either an entire season or damn near half a season was the span of like 24 to 36 hours, where it's like, wait, did we spend the past 10 episodes in the same night? What's going on here? That's not what I'm saying they need to do. I think, like Roof with the cult and everything like that, that definitely felt like, mid-season or season finale material, not episode 1. It just seemed very out of place. So I feel like, Tyler Perry probably looked at what fans reacted well to within the haves and have-nots of Loving You Is on his other shows, and tried to instantly put that into the Oval in order to get people to tune in each week. So when you think about the Franklin family, we really got more of a feel for what Gail and Victoria are like. So Victoria goes down to Gail's room, and she literally in that one scene was a mix of Catherine, Veronica, and Candace rolled into one in regards to her being toxic, vicious, controlling, domineering, physical, whatever the term you want to use is. And I definitely got Claire Huxtable vibes, when they were walking through the crowd and she noticed Hunter's +1 and she gave him that side eye. Oh, yeah, I definitely got Claire Huxtable vibes there, or Veronica Harrington. And she even used some of the dialogue that I recognized from like Catherine Cryer, like, you son of a bitch, or I forgot what line she said exactly, but like her arguing, argue. Wow, come on, Jeremy, get it together. Her threatening and demanding Gail to get ready for an event that's important to the family but not important to her reminded me of Catherine telling Wyatt to get ready for Jim's press conference that he was going to announce that he was running for governor, but he didn't want to go and he got drunk instead, just like Gail did. So yeah, this episode, I don't regret watching it like 5 times. I might watch it again before the episode 2, but I can see why people were a bit, this show isn't. But at the same time, I enjoyed it. And I think another thing that people are saying, and we're saying, man, the acting was like, no, I don't like it. It was subpar, especially the girl playing Gail. I honestly feel like I want to call her Tasha all the time. Tasha from Everybody Hates Chris. Like, the acting wasn't great. I'm pretty lenient on the first couple episodes of a series, especially when it's new, specifically because of the fact that in those early episodes, the characters or the actors are trying to find the characters. I think one of the best examples of this, go back to the haves and the have-nots. Listen to the voice Peter Parros puts on for David Harrington and then compare it to later season 1. His voice changed because Peter Parros said in the interview that he wanted to put more of a different accent on his voice because it sounded like every other character was doing the same thing. So he kind of had like a not like a high pitched voice, but I feel like his original I feel like Peter's original David Harrington voice was closer to his real Peter voice than his later David Harrington voice, which is completely different from his, hi, I'm Peter Parros. How's everybody doing? Tune in to the Haves and the Have-Nots Tuesday night. Because at the beginning of the series, he was like, Jim, I was talking with the current governor and he said he wanted you to run. And then go like several episodes later, Jim, we need to take care of this criminal right now. You're being sloppy. We need to make sure we win the governor's mansion. And once again, go back to those early episodes. They're on Hulu. Check them out. But in any case, I think that acting pretty decent. Yeah, there were some bits where I'm like, the delivery could have been a bit more convincing, but it was only the first episode. I'm sure as the season goes on, the characters will really find themselves, so to speak. But with that being said, I think I covered just about everything I wanted to say in regards to my response to some of the more consistent complaints that I saw online about the Oval. Just like I said before the series started, I'm going to do my best to treat this as its own show. Of course, I will, point out things that remind me of other Tyler Perry shows, whether it be Have and Have-Nots, If Loving You Is Wrong. A lot of people have been telling me about Too Close to Home and stuff like that. Like, this character was on that show, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good point. Or, some people calling this a knockoff Scandal. I'm going to let this show try to stand on its own merit, and I'm not going to pull punches, like post episode 5 or 6, because that's like, okay, we've reached like the first quarter of the season. It's time to, roll up the sleeves and really get into where's this show going, is it being consistent? Are characters getting enough time to shine? So, yeah, I think that unlike Ambitions, which crammed in all these characters in one episode, I think the funny thing about Ambitions is within episode 1, we're introduced to like a dozen plus characters, yet not even a dozen episodes into the series. It's kind of like, wait, some of these characters only showed up like 2 or 3 times. But with the Oval, I just feel like maybe it would have been better if we got a little bit more, I guess you could say, divided attention, because who was really focusing on what was going on at Nancy's house when we wanted to know more about the first family? And I mean, the Lily cutaways weren't terrible, but it just seemed a bit too, wow, she's just randomly having bathroom sex with some dude. And yeah, that's going to be his own video too. That seemed a bit too easy, and like I was saying in that video, I think it stems from more than just, oh, one angry conversation with my husband and I want to have sex with someone else. No, I think it stems a little bit deeper than that. No pun intended. So with that being said, let me know what your thoughts on the Oval season premiere are. And I'm kind of glad I didn't put this in the episode review, because that video would have been like 40 minutes long. It would have been as long as the actual episode. This video is pretty much, me taking observations of what other viewers thought about the series premiere, what my response was to it, along with my own thoughts on top of that, that I didn't see. So, yeah. Let me know what you thought of Sisters. What series premiere did you enjoy more? And of course, if you haven't done so already, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Trying to hit 94,000 before the end of the month. And yeah, Thursday is going to get here before you know it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, prayers up, that we will hit 100,000 before the end of the year. Hopefully before December. I mean, November has, 4 weeks, 30 days. Hopefully before Christmas. So with that being said, thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you all later.